Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. This post was clicked by Choice Evidence 1983, and their tagline is, "It dawned on me that he was a wizard." The original OP is Boyfriend Wedding Help, posted to r/Am I Overreacting, September 3rd, 2025. Am I overreacting for wanting my boyfriend to back out of a destination wedding he's the best man for because I was uninvited from the wedding? My boyfriend, 35 male, is the best man for his best friend's wedding in a few months. I, 31 female, was originally invited to this wedding as his +1 as well. The wedding is a destination wedding at an extremely expensive resort. All flights and hotels for both of us have been booked and paid for already. I have met the bride and groom-to-be a handful of times, have always been friendly with them, and was invited to attend their joint bachelor-bachelorette trip as my boyfriend's +1. I attended the weekend trip and had a great time getting to know everyone that will be attending the wedding and was really looking forward to seeing everyone again at the wedding. I never felt any sort of animosity and came out of the weekend thinking everyone had a great time partying with each other. Turns out, the bride felt some type of way about me and has uninvited me from the wedding. I have not had any conversations with the bride or groom, but my boyfriend received the news from the groom. From what I heard of the conversation, it seems like the groom doesn't agree with his fiancé and was really uncomfortable to deliver the message, but his hands were tied. My boyfriend has received details on what happened to make the bride feel that way towards me, and we both agreed that it's a ridiculous overreaction and a huge misunderstanding. Long story short, the bride felt as if I didn't make an effort to make her feel special and was trying to take her spotlight. My boyfriend contacted the other friends who were there that weekend as well, and everyone is in agreement that this is an overreaction and misunderstanding. The thing that bothers me the most is that everything that was listed out that I was doing to make her feel that way, everybody else was doing it as well. But it seems like there was a magnifying glass on me, and she has a vendetta against me for some reason. My boyfriend thinks it was a series of unfortunate events that started at a house party a few months ago when I beat her at Mario Kart and everyone was cheering for me. I voiced to my boyfriend that I'm more than willing to have a conversation with the bride to clear the misunderstanding, to try and get her to change her mind. But at the same time, I'm not really sure I want to go to this wedding anymore anyways, as I would hate to be somewhere I'm not wanted. My reasoning for going would more so to be there to support my boyfriend and enjoy the vacation with him. That being said, I shared with my boyfriend that if the decision stays and I am uninvited, I would be upset if he still decides to go without me. I may feel differently if 1, it wasn't an expensive destination wedding that takes away valuable vacation days he doesn't have a lot of, or 2, we were in agreement that my actions justified this decision in any way. For me, him attending without me feels like he's agreeing with the decision and is choosing to stick by his friend over sticking up for me. Am I overreacting for wanting my boyfriend to back out? Edit, wow, this got way more traction than I ever imagined it would. Thank you all for taking the time to share your thoughts and insights. It's been really helpful for me to read through and help process my emotions. This was all super fresh news when I wrote this out this morning, and I've had some time to process. I think my next step will be to reach out to the bride to have a talk with her and see exactly, from her perspective, what went wrong that led her to ultimately make the decision to uninvite me. It's been a game of telephone so far, so it would be helpful to hear it from the source. I plan on apologizing to her during this conversation because even though it may seem like an overreaction and misunderstanding to me and others, what she felt was obviously real and real enough for her to make this decision. My hope from this conversation is that we can at least be cordial moving forward and be friendly for the sake of our men, even if we won't ever be true friends. We'll post another update once we've had the talk. Thanks again, Reddit. Edit 2. I've had another night to think about the situation, reading through this thread, and it is really split 50-50. Seeing the different angles of everyone's insight has been super helpful. I'm going to talk to my boyfriend tonight and mention that while my feelings of being upset are valid, it's not on me to dictate whether he should go to the wedding or not. I am understanding of the situation and realize that he should be there to support his best friend through this important life moment. He's made it very clear to me as well that he would be attending to support his friend specifically. I do agree with most of the comments here telling me that I should just go on the vacation with my boyfriend and have him minimize his time with the wedding duties to the necessities only. I will bring this option up with him, and hopefully we're able to come to an agreeable compromise that leaves us both feeling heard and understood. Edit 3. I told my boyfriend that I plan to reach out to the bride to hear her side of the story and apologize for any wrongdoings on my part, but he told me that he doesn't think it's the right time right now, as the groom has been going to bat for us and bride has been crying a lot, so I'd like the dust to settle. I guess at this point I'm kind of at a standstill and waiting for a final decision to be made by the bride/groom. The wedding isn't for another few months, so we have some time to hopefully settle this, be on good terms, and maybe even look back and laugh at how ridiculous this all was one day. This will probably be my last update for a while until there's an actual update to give. Once again, thank you to everyone who took the time to give your insight and share your wisdom. I was pretty 50-50 about my thoughts, and seems like the internet is too. Hearing both sides has definitely been helpful for my thought process. Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Just go, and don't go to the wedding. OP responds, we've discussed this option as well, but since he's the best man, he would be preoccupied with wedding stuff. Welcome party, rehearsal, the actual wedding, ceremony, reception. I would be alone most of the time. Commenter 2. This is tough, but I agree with you. Him still going would make me feel weird. I get it's not who he's showing up for, the groom, making the decision, but still. How did your boyfriend react when you said you'd be upset if he still went? Has any money already been spent on your or his end to attend? OP responds, my boyfriend has paid for both of our flights and hotel bookings already. The groom has said that he would pay him back for my portion as he feels bad about the whole thing. He felt that it was unfair for me to put him in an impossible position to pick between me or his best friend. From my perspective though, I'm not asking him to not be friends with his best friend. I just don't want him going to the wedding if I'm not invited, as much as I get why the groom has to take his fiance's side. I think the groom should understand why my boyfriend would decide not to go if I'm uninvited. How long has OP and her boyfriend been dating? We've been dating for 8 months and are living together. I know we haven't been dating an extremely long time in a traditional sense, but we're not adolescents and have every intent of marrying each other in the near future. Families have met, etc. Commenter 3. Tell us what you did or what she thinks you did so we can make a better call. OP responds, 1. The girls, 10 of us, went out to a dinner together and were seated at a long table. I was having a conversation with the girls on my side of the table. I was in the corner. And the bride was sitting on the other side of the table. She felt as if I wasn't including her in the conversation. My boyfriend spoke with the other girls who were at the dinner, and everyone who was on my side of the table felt like the dinner went well, and there was nothing to note. 2. We were all singing karaoke. Everyone was taking turns putting in songs. The bride just finished singing a song, so I went to go put another song in. She was upset about that because I guess everyone was chanting for her to sing another song, but I was unaware she wanted to sing 2 songs in a row. For the past hour, we've all been taking turns putting in songs. 3. Apparently, I wasn't trying to get to know all of the girls. To this, I can say that I spent more time with some girls than other girls just because of the activities we were doing. Some girls weren't drinking, so they were sticking together and hanging out. Some girls were drinking, myself included, so naturally, we stuck together and hung out. Commenter 4. You need to talk to your boyfriend. Since y'all are serious, this decision of the bride-to-be could have long-lasting consequences. Y'all need to come up with a plan together and alert the groom/bride. The groom also would need to know potential long-term consequences. How often do they hang out? Double dates? What about y'all's wedding? OP responds, we've talked about this too. The wedding itself is just one weekend, but we're definitely more upset at the future consequences that her current decision will cause. My boyfriend and I were always aligned on wanting our kids to grow up near our friends' kids in one neighborhood. My friends are scattered all over the US, but most of his friends are in our area, so I was really making an effort to try and integrate myself with his friend group so we could have that kind of future. But this whole situation is making me want to live far away from them. OP responds to the general question, if OP and her boyfriend were already married, would he still go to the wedding? OP responds, he said if we were married, he would back out. Commenter 5. People don't usually invite guests and give them a +1 than to basically interview/evaluate/judge whether the +1 is worthy of attending. Pass judgment and rescind the +1, but allow the original guest to attend. That's terrible wedding etiquette. And if they plan on continuing the friendship with your boyfriend, the best man, how do they think that's going to go? No double dates, trips, or events with all 4 of you together? You will not be deemed worthy to attend anything in the presence of Her Majesty? And what if you and your boyfriend eventually marry? Your boyfriend may want current groom to be best man. And will she expect to be invited? LOL. These people are shallow and don't realize there's a life after the wedding. It's literally the smallest of events in the marriage. They're not seeing the big picture. It's extraordinarily rude to rescind an invite in this way, and I would assume you and your boyfriend will have to deal with the emotional fallout if he chooses to attend. Maybe your relationship won't last much longer afterward, but maybe that's what the bride wants. She's playing anti-Cupid. OP responds, we all agree that she's being really immature about this whole thing and have not taken into the consideration of all the consequences that will come from this. I would have at least appreciated if she spoke to me about her feelings first before coming to such an explosive decision. OP responds to people asking, how old is the bride? She's a bit younger than the rest of us. I think she's 26 or 27. Boyfriend said she's always been the baby of the group. Why is OP's boyfriend the one who paid for the entire trip when they only been together for 8 months? OP responds, when he was a +1 at my best friend's wedding, I paid for our accommodations as he was my guest. This time I'm his guest, so it made sense for him to pay. Update, September 5th, 2025, 2 days later. Am I overreacting? My boyfriend doesn't want me to come to the resort at all. This is a continuation of my previous post, as that post is now locked. A few amendments to my previous post and comments. Turns out I actually paid for the flights. It's been so long since we booked, I forgot. The resort is technically refundable since you don't pay until you get there. The groom has said he would pair up my boyfriend with another guest that's coming alone, as the rooms are priced per 2 occupants. I told my boyfriend that while it's valid for me to be upset about the situation, it's not valid for me to dictate whether you should go to this wedding or not. I understand the tough spot you're in, and I don't want to make it more difficult than it already is for you. Whatever the final decision, bride and groom, come to is, you should go to support groom. If the decision stays that they don't want me at the wedding, maybe we can still go to the resort together and I'll just enjoy some solo spa time while you're doing wedding stuff. That way we can still have some time together and you can fulfill your best man duties. He was very against this idea, saying this would most definitely cause a lot of drama and alienate me further from the group. I said that he knows his friend group better than me, and if he feels like this would cause more stress for him, I'll bow out. I mentioned that if he doesn't want me staying at the same resort, I could go to a different resort in that area, so at least the flights aren't wasted. He was against this idea as well and said I should just stay home or go to a different destination completely. I have no reason to think that my boyfriend is being unfaithful, as some of the comments in my previous post have mentioned. This just seems to be a point that we don't align on. He wants to make it as drama-free for the bride and groom on their wedding weekend by prioritizing their comfort and needs over mine. I want to be the understanding girlfriend so badly, but man, am I torn between feeling neglected as the girlfriend versus trying to just let it go and not die on this hill. Am I overreacting? Relevant comments. Commenter 1. Something else is going on beyond what you're being told, or your boyfriend and that friend group are insane. Maybe both. OP responds, yeah, it's really frustrating to be the topic of discussion and not being allowed in on the discussion. Feels like I'm in a hole with everyone throwing shade at me and I can't even be there to speak up for myself. I'm just hearing everything through my boyfriend and it's still a big game of telephone. Commenter 2. How important is this friends group? Your boyfriend is assuming they'll all be upset, but will they? They know you had tickets and resort booked until you were uninvited just 2 weeks before. Boyfriend has wedding duties. Fine. You shouldn't lose out on a trip altogether to spa since time off work schedule. Don't post on social media, don't blow up boyfriend's cell with calls or texts, and go sunbathe. Ease, they don't own the sun. OP responds, they're very important people to my boyfriend. I recognize how important it is to have a solid friend group around you, and I wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize his relationship with his. He says that me going will be a statement enough for them to see me as vindictive. Commenter 3. He's being very unreasonable, and I'd be sus about it. Seems like your boyfriend wants some alone time with that person the groom said he would pair your boyfriend with, and maybe that someone is the bride's friend and wants to play matchmaker. I think you should go to the resort still. It wouldn't make any drama, and it shouldn't. OP responds, I asked who he would be paired up with, and they're both guys. That I know. I have no reason to suspect that he would be doing anything sus if he's there alone, so I would rather not spiral down that road. I thought going to the resort and doing my own thing was a great compromise, as suggested by many others, but he wholeheartedly disagrees. Even going to the same country at a different resort would apparently cause issues. Commenter 4. Ultimately, only you can answer the question of, am I okay with this? If you're feeling torn between wanting to be understanding but also feeling like everyone is being taken care of but you, maybe it's good to express this. Also, do you have any best girlfriends? Because you should take that plane ticket refund and go to a trip with friends. Get out, don't stay home, go see parents, etc. Better to go have fun than mope. Opie responds, this is a great idea. It's one of my best friend's birthdays that weekend and I wasn't able to do anything with her due to this wedding. Would be a great excuse to take a girls' trip together instead. Commenter 5. Right now, everything you're being told comes from your boyfriend. I'm not saying he's lying, but he's certainly going all out to not have you speak to anyone else in the friendship group or wedding party, isn't he? Why is that, I wonder? You are perfectly within your rights to reach out to the bride to find out exactly what's going on. In a totally non-accusatory way, of course, and to see if you can smooth things over with her. The cynic in me worries if your boyfriend is engineering this so you don't get to go, although I sincerely hope I'm wrong. You don't need his permission to speak to the bride, and it could at least clear the air prior to the wedding because, as it stands now, you will never be able to be around these people again without there being some kind of animosity, and if they're all that important to him, how long will your relationship last when you can't be a part of the social group? Opie responds, I know I don't need permission to reach out to the bride myself, but he's made it clear that now's not a good time, and I'm keen on not making the situation worse. I'll probably reach out to the bride in a week or so to get some clarification myself. And yeah, that's what I'm worried about. It was really important for me that my boyfriend got along with my friend group, and they've welcomed him in with gracious open arms. I, unfortunately, did not get the same from his. Opie responds to a comment about her priorities in the relationship. Opie responds, you may be right on that one, and it sucks to know that I prioritize/value our relationship higher than he does. Even though we're not married, I feel that I go about our relationship with the same respect as if we were. That respect definitely doesn't feel reciprocated. Okay, so here's my tinfoil hat theory. The bride never actually fully uninvited him from the wedding. The only hole in this theory is that she overheard the conversation between her boyfriend and the groom, but maybe that was fabricated, who knows? But the reason why I think this and why it's a tinfoil hat theory is because, one, she's not allowed to talk to anyone about what's going on because it might be too hard on the bride. Two, all the information she's getting is from the groom about why this is happening. And three, she's not allowed to go on other vacations, even to another country or to wherever she has to stay home. So what if, and this is the tinfoil hat, what if he's telling her she's uninvited, but he's telling everyone else she doesn't want to go? For some reason, who knows why. And that's why she can't post pictures, because if she goes and starts posting pictures, well then suddenly it's, oh, so she can't come to my destination wedding, but she can vacation somewhere else? Or if she comes to the resort, oh, so she's willing to come to the resort my wedding's at, but not attend it? So I do wonder if he did create some kind of lie on both sides and he's just trying to maintain it. There also wasn't any further updates, which makes me believe that these two probably did end up breaking up. And OP just chose not to make any further updates. Like, it is crazy that OP was told by her boyfriend, I don't even want you in the same country as me, for a vacation-style getaway. Because this pretty much just breaks down to either the tinfoil hat theory is looking more and more true, or his friend group, his group of friends that he wants to be around are such complete assholes that if they uninvite you from a wedding, you're not allowed to have fun that weekend at all. You have to be miserable, which does not seem realistic at all. And it's why I continue to more and more lean towards the tinfoil hat theory that the boyfriend's up to some wacky ass shit. This post was collected by Lucy Aria Rose, and their tagline is, I'm keeping the garlic. The original OP is Throwaway 274838474, posted to r/mytheasshole February 27, 2023. Am I the asshole for refusing to let my boyfriend move into my house with his nephew, even temporarily? I, 23 female, inherited my grandparents' house and land last year. I'd rather have my grandparents back, but at least I'm set up with a good place to live out of college and don't have to worry about housing like a lot of my friends. I've been seeing my boyfriend Adam, 24 male, for a year and a half, and we've been planning to move in together this summer. He would be moving to my place. Right now, he lives in an apartment with 3 roommates. Adam has an older brother that's kind of a piece of shit. He and his girlfriend are addicts and have been involved in shady stuff in the past, so Adam only talks to them at holidays usually. They have a son, 5 years old, male, that Adam sends birthday cards and gifts to, but hasn't spent a whole lot of time around because of the family drama. A couple of weeks ago, the worst happened, and the girlfriend died, and Adam's brother is going to be in jail. Probably for a very long time. Jesus. Girlfriend's family apparently disowned her and want nothing to do with it. That leaves Adam as a guardian for the kid, or foster care. I'm not a kid person. I don't dislike kids, but I had my own messed up childhood, and I would not be a good parent or be able to deal with the noise and chaos of a small kid easily. Adam knows this as we've had the "what if there's an oops" and future planning conversations. So I was surprised when Adam asked about moving plans up for us to live together so that he would have space to take in his nephew. I said I wasn't okay with him bringing his nephew, and since the situation had changed, the plan would have been to put off until something was figured out. He said there's no room for his nephew at his current place and rent is sky high, so he wouldn't be able to afford a new place on his own. My place has plenty of room that would be perfect. And this is literally the difference between his nephew staying with family and going God knows where. We argued and his mom has been calling me to beg me to let them stay with me for a while until they can make other arrangements. I have a feeling that a little while would turn into permanently once the kid got comfortable. Mutual friends have been telling me I'd be an asshole for not helping Adam, at least temporarily, because I'm lucky to have the space, but I really don't want my space invaded like that and have to deal with kicking them out eventually if nothing else comes up. Relevant comments. OP added quite a bit of clarifying information. People point out this is probably the end of the relationship. Yeah, sadly it probably is. I'd be happy to continue dating seriously without living together because it would still be a year or 2 before I'd feel comfortable getting engaged and married, and that's plenty of time to work on a solution, but if it's now or bust, I'm going to have to pick bust. Feeling pressured into things is a big deal for me. More about why she would be willing to live separately for a few years when a kid is a longer commitment. I'd be okay with being in a permanent relationship with someone I didn't live with, so maybe a solution is we stay together and live separately until the kid is grown up. That would work for me. I'm pretty self-sufficient and I don't need a live-in partner to be happy. I think. I also have a feeling this guardian situation isn't going to last. Adam doesn't strike me as the kind of person right now to take on a traumatized little kid and all the stuff that goes with it. I'd give it 3 months for the panic to wear off and the reality sets in for him to realize how much it's going to change his life in ways he can't deal with. Maybe I'll be surprised, but Adam is one of those people that kinda needs to start with keeping a houseplant alive first. Didn't he already take in his nephew? I mean, technically he hasn't yet. He needs a stable place to live that meets CPS basic requirements before they turn the kid over to him, so the kid is living in a temporary foster home right now. More about why she thinks he would not be a good fit for his nephew. We've been friends for a while before we started dating. He's never taken care of a kid, never even had a pet. He's a good guy, but he's a dude in his early 20s that hasn't had a whole lot of responsibility or tie-downs until now. And part of the reason that I want to ease into living together and thinking about marriage over a few years is that I grew up in an unstable environment with unstable people and was in foster care for a while. And I want to make sure he can settle and stabilize. I don't think he completely understands what's going to happen when the back pats stop and he has to deal with actually having a kid. I'm not shitting on him, but as someone who was a child in a similar need, I know that well-intentioned people like Adam often make it worse, and not every desire to step up is followed by a capacity to adequately step up without fucking up the kid even worse. If he can't hack it, it's the kid that's going to suffer the majority of the fallout, so I don't really think Adam is thinking of what's really best for the kid, as much as he doesn't want to think he's a bad person for refusing to take on the kid. Foster care isn't the worst thing that can happen here. He can still be involved in the kid's life even if the kid is in foster care right now and can possibly take on custody in the future when he's actually able to house and care for the kid. The kid is in foster care right now, so he would have to get himself together just to be eligible. Why can't boyfriend's mom take the nephew in? No space. She lives in a one-bedroom condo, and I think there's something with her disability that it would affect her status if someone earning a full paycheck was living with her, but I'm not 100% sure on that part. Can boyfriend move into his brother and sister-in-law's house? Without getting into the messy details too much, no. Nobody is going to be living there ever again. More about the house. This house is the only safe place I had growing up. I really, really don't want to move out of it. It's one of the few places I feel completely at ease, so it makes managing my PTSD easier. I know I'm safe here, and no one can kick me out, get rid of me, or treat me like shit in my own house. I'm sorry for the kid, but I'm not willing to give that up. I doubt Adam would be able to afford the rent since I couldn't charge him less than what it would take to get me a place to live somewhere else, so it's the same problem. Well, let them stay for a bit. It's a lot bigger deal than that. Even with a lease, if Adam can't find somewhere and refuses to go, I would have to give them 30 days notice to move before starting eviction, and that would take, at minimum, like 30 days beyond that. So then, I'm stuck for at least an extra month or two with two people in my house that I don't want there. One, an angry ex, the other, an already traumatized kid who would be taken back by CPS anyway if Adam is evicted with no place to go and doesn't need to be exposed to any more adults fighting and instability. This is one reason why it's obvious to me that Adam isn't ready to parent a kid. He doesn't have a plan that doesn't involve other people doing most of it for him. OP is voted not the asshole. First update. Same post. Somewhere between February 28th and March 5th. Probably the 28th, the next day. Well, decision made. I broke up with him last night. Reading all the responses made me realize that I don't actually want him to move in with or without his nephew at this point. He did not take it well at all, but probably another reason this wasn't going to work in the end. Hopefully, he and his mom can figure something out together. Update 2, on the same post, March 20th, 2023, 3 weeks later. Update, small update for this. Some of you guys were totally right about his intentions. He dropped the idea of taking his nephew in a few days after I broke up with him and called from a mutual friend's phone to ask me to take him back. I asked him why he wasn't going to take in his nephew, and he said it would be too hard to do alone. So, looks like he was expecting me to help him with the kid all along, instead of just letting him stay for a while. Without a free place to live and a built-in helper, he's not interested. I did not take him back. I think the breakup was the best thing that could have happened. I feel a lot better without him in my life. Thanks for the advice. This is a messy and tricky situation, and the thing is, OP is right. Just 100% right. Not only are they very well experienced with the system, unfortunately, but they're also very well experienced with Adam and what he is or isn't capable of. And OP seemed to be right on the money. Also, if I ever get like a multi-million-dollar big YouTuber house, you bet your ass I'm gonna be a foster parent. I want to be able to make that difference in people's lives. Sup, loser, get in. I hope you like a full belly and a comfy bed. Your ass is gonna be reading before bed and also learning to play Command & Conquer, but that's more for me. This post was collected by Ricky Say Shay. The original OP is 1fudge3629, posted to r/justnomother-in-law. OP is gifted laser tattoo removal by her mother-in-law. Just found this subreddit and had to share this story. My husband, 43 male, and I, 31 female, have been married for 3 years, together for 6. Obviously, there is an age gap between my husband and I, which has never been an issue for us. My mother-in-law, however, has always greatly disapproved and likes to talk to me like I'm a rebellious teenager instead of her son's life partner. A big issue for her is the fact that I have tattoos. I love all my tattoos. They're well done and a huge part of my identity. I can't imagine myself without them, and my husband loves how they look on me. Mother-in-law made a few comments while we were dating, but my husband told her privately to drop it. 3 years ago, my husband and I hosted our families for my birthday dinner. It was our first big get-together after getting married, and everyone was nice enough to bring me a gift. I was going to open them after everyone left, but mother-in-law handed me an envelope at the dinner table and insisted I open it immediately. Inside was a card and a gift certificate to a local tattoo removal business for $500. I was confused and asked her what this was for. She said that since I was a married woman now and planning to have kids, she assumed I would want my tattoos removed. Both my husband and I were kind of taken aback and stunned. I half-heartedly thanked her, and the party continued. Later, my husband called her and told her off. He insisted she take it back and get her money back. She absolutely refused and insisted I would want it someday. 3 years later, her $500 is sitting in my kitchen junk drawer, and I've added 3 more tattoos to the collection. Update, thank you so much for all the great suggestions on what to do with the gift certificate. I actually have a friend who's the director of a restorative justice organization. I asked her if she had any clients with hate symbols they would like removed, and it turns out she works with a guy who has a swastika on his arm that he hides every day because he's so ashamed. This is particularly significant and powerful for me because I'm Jewish. Anyway, I'm dropping it off today, and I'm really pleased that something that started as a disrespectful slight from my mother-in-law turned into this. Thank you, Reddit. First things first, it's actually really nice that the mother-in-law's just ridiculous gift is being used for good. I mean, considering he's part of a restorative justice organization, there's a good chance that he probably got involved with a prison gang and had to get that tattoo for protection or something along those lines, and didn't have the funding to be able to remove it and just had to hide it in shame instead. And now, rather than trying to scrape by and save up for it, he can just have it removed. Now, as for the mother-in-law, that is one hell of an ego you have to pretty much be in the boat of like, yeah, in front of everyone, on your birthday, I'm going to give you a gift card to have your tattoos removed. Aren't I so kind? Think about your future. Think about what other people are going to think about you. It's not about how you enjoy yourself, it's about how I think of you. If I had a family member with tattoos and they received a gift card for tattoo removal, that is a lot of secondhand embarrassment that I would be unwillingly given. I know that it's not quite the same comparison, but to me this feels almost as on par as giving an expecting mother whose family a pamphlet to a local animal shelter as a, well, you're about to have a baby and, dogs can be a bit of a hassle with newborns, so thought I would just get you prepared. Like, who the fuck do you think you are? This post was clicked by Lucy Aria Rose, and their tagline is, I'm keeping the garlic. The original OP is Red563, posted in r/relationships, August 12, 2014. 10-year update. Me, 24 male, with my girlfriend, 23 female. Girlfriend has princess syndrome. Throwaway because my main can be connected to my girlfriend's blog. I've been with my girlfriend for about 5 months. We've been casual friends since college, but only began dating after she graduated. We get along really well. When I say princess syndrome, I don't mean that she's spoiled or entitled, because she isn't. Her clothes seem to take over her life. She dresses like a sort of fairy tale princess on a near daily basis, excluding at work. Long, frilly skirts, lacy blouses, things like that. It works for her because she's very pretty and can pull it off. At first, I found it to be very endearing, but then I became aware of how much time she spends on her outfits. She runs a blog that has a sizable amount of followers, and she's constantly posting outfit pictures, links to clothing items and whatnot. She spends a few hours a day on her blog, at least. Then she spends time sewing items for new outfits, or for her Etsy store. When we go out, we get a lot of stares at what she's wearing. I've also caught people sneaking pictures of her on their cell phones. This attention makes me uncomfortable. I have asked her to tone it down a bit, but she took that to mean not wearing anything in her hair when we're out together. I have told her several times that I love her just the way she is, but she seems to brush it off. I had hoped when she started her new job in the career of her choice that she would become more serious, but her new boss and coworkers encourage her. I worry that people won't take her seriously or miss how kind and intelligent she is. How can I talk to her about dressing more appropriately without hurting her feelings? Too long didn't read girlfriend dresses like a princess. How do I talk to her about it? Hey, real quick, if her coworkers and her new boss are encouraging this, you don't gotta worry about people taking her seriously, because they are. Relevant comments. Commenter. Sounds like you have to get over your insecurities. This is her hobby, her interest, and She's getting positive reactions. You shouldn't be trying to change her, especially when it was something that initially drew you to her. Opie responds, I guess I'm having trouble seeing clothing as a hobby. I play video games as a hobby, but that doesn't cause strangers to take pictures of me when I'm trying to shop at the supermarket. I get your point that it initially drew me to her because it did, that's fair. I guess I didn't think that it would be such a constant thing in her life, especially after she graduated. I mean, if she has an Etsy store, a blog, and sews new items for her outfits, that's a hobby. Commenter, so you love her just the way she is, but you're assuming she'll take that to mean she should change how she is. That doesn't make sense. This is how she is. She enjoys dressing up like this. I mean, shit, she posts outfit photos online because she enjoys it so much. Other people encourage her because they do like how she is. If you don't like the attention, ask her sometime to just go out with you while she's wearing a casual outfit, but keep in mind that she already loves what she's normally wearing. Opie responds, This is my problem. How do I ask her to dress more casually around me without her misinterpreting what I mean again? Again? And also not hurting her feelings. I can think of ways to ask one half of that, but it doesn't work with the other half. Commenter, if you love the way she is, why do you want her to change? Just curious. Opie responds, She doesn't need all the frilly stuff. She'd still look like a princess, and it's one thing for an artsy college student to dress alternatively, but she's a 23-year-old woman now. I feel like her clothing masks how smart she is and makes her appear shallow. Is it for attention? I don't think it's an attention thing. She says she doesn't care about what people think about her, but she spends so much time on her blog replying to comments and such, I kind of doubt it. She also has told me that she loves being approached by little girls while she's dressed up, which definitely makes me think it's about attention. She doesn't dress inappropriately by those standards. She's well-groomed and doesn't show much skin, but is it appropriate to wear lacy dresses and flower crowns to the supermarket? Again, it attracts unnecessary attention. I, for one, think whimsy in our world is a good thing. Update post 1. August 23rd, 2014, 11 days later. I didn't plan on updating, but things changed. I realized from my last post that I needed to be more supportive, but also communicate on how she could dress down on certain occasions so we could both be comfortable. Well, I never got a chance to talk to her about it. Last week she called and wanted to stop by my apartment after work. When she got there, I offered to make dinner, but she said she couldn't stay and we had to talk. I jokingly asked if she was breaking up with me, and she looked really guilty. You can see where this is going. We talked about how we were in different places in life and had different goals for the future. Well, she talked, but I agreed. It was a pretty amicable breakup, even though I felt blindsided. We agreed to stay friends. I've never been dumped before, and it's fucking awful. I'm having trouble with the whole social media thing post-breakup. I want a way to keep in touch with her, but as soon as her relationship status changed, all these alternative-looking guys have been liking her posts and commenting on her pictures. I don't think she's seeing these guys, but it still hurts. My friend wants to set me up on a date, but I don't know if it's a good idea. Relevant comments. Commenter. Fickle is the head that wears the flowered lace crown. It was never going to work out anyway. You had some laughs and some good times. Enjoy that and move on. Opie responds, I understand some of her reasoning. Mainly I want to move out of the city once my lease is up, and I wanted her to move in with me. I was worried about long distance. She didn't want to leave the city though. She said something about me being controlling too, but I don't think that's the case at all. Uh-huh. Commenter says block her. We agreed to stay friends, so I don't want to block her. Update post 2, April 4th, 2024, 9 years and 8 months later. I was going through an old email and found this account again. I was surprised I could still log in, and even more by the amount of people who had reached out to me. It's a bit embarrassing to relive this breakup from almost 10 years ago. In retrospect, it wasn't meant to be, and I think I was reeling more from getting dumped than the loss of the relationship. I'm 33 now, and married to a wonderful woman, 31 female, for 4 years. I learned my lesson about supporting my significant other's hobbies. My wife loves running and baking. We have a daughter who's turning 3 this year. I want her to be free to express herself how she likes, as long as it's safe, of course. I would do anything for them. I'm still friends with my ex on social media. We don't talk, but we'll like each other's posts. She's married to another woman now, who also dresses differently. It's not as frilly as she used to dress, but it's still unusual. Her pictures look like something out of Anne of Green Gables. She seems very happy on their farm together. Too long didn't read, was dumb in my early 20s, got over an old breakup, and now am married and happily supporting my wife's hobbies. Relevant commenter. Can we expect an update in 10 years when your daughter has become a teenager and developed princess syndrome? Also, congratulations on your life. Opie responds, well, she does love pink and purple. Honestly, this is probably the best 10-year update that could have occurred in this situation. He was dumb, he was in his 20s, she wanted one thing, he wanted something else. He was more focused on how he was perceived, she was more focused on enjoying being who she was. They weren't compatible. They split. I wonder if she saw his Reddit post. But then, 10 years later, he found the person he loved, and she found the girl she loved, and they're on a farm together, and he has a daughter. Worked out well, I'd say. Glad OP could grow. Ah! Oh, you scared me. Oh, shit. Hi, welcome to the outro. I would say use code KEYZ at checkout with gamer subs, but I don't really give out my code to anyone who scares me. Like, if you wanna have my gamer subs code KEYZ at checkout, like, you gotta not go out of your way to scare me, because that was just mean, and like you should feel bad about that. And because of that, I'm not gonna tell you that using code KEYZ at checkout with gamer subs gets you 10% off. And you know they got tons of cool stuff on their website, like t-shirts and like keycaps and like sleep aid stuff and caffeine powder and caffeine-free powder and like hydration powder, like lots of good stuff. And I'm not gonna tell you about any of that or how code KEYZ gets you 10% off. Because you scared me. And that's on you. Or the fact that you can get free samples using code KEYZ at checkout and get some like sample packs for free. Yeah, you're not going to learn any of that. Maybe you should think twice before scaring me.